Hi, this is Laurie Mangold, and we're here for month 3 cutting. I can't believe we're at month 3 in our $5 quilt program, but here we are. This month, I'm going to show you how to cut using the Desert Sage block. So the first color we're going to cut is called Northern Waters. Out of the 2 blues that we're using in the program, this is the more dusty, lighter blue. This piece is cut to approximately 8 by 9 inches. You want to have the 9 inches going this way along, and I've got my mat upside down. So 27 to 36, I believe, is 9 inches. Okay, and I can measure it with the ruler too. Then I'm going to clean cut my edge. So again, I'm just laying it here and cutting a nice thin piece off to get a straight edge. And I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to cut 2 4-inch strips off of here. Okay, so I have already pre-shrunk these fabrics before I started. So there's a 4 and this is a 4. All right, so now I have my 2 4-inch strips. Now I have to cut, oh, I need to cut these down. Sorry, I'm trying to read the instructions and work at the same time. I'm going to stack these, and these need to be 7 inches long. So I'm going to make sure they're lined up nice and straight. And then I'm going to clean cut this edge. I'm going to slide that in just a little bit. That. Okay, the next direction we're going to cut, it has to be 7 inches. So I'm going to turn this around to the side, and as you notice, my ruler is only 6.5 inches wide. So I can turn it on the side, and I can find my 7-inch mark here, and I can line up, and I'm going to make sure this one of these straight lines so that I know I'm nice and straight and square, and I can go ahead and cut off these 2 pieces. So now I have 2 of these that measure 4 inches by 7 inches, and I'm going to set those aside. The second color we're going to cut is called Macchiato, and in your kit, this one is the darker of the 2 tans. Okay, for those of you doing the other colors, this color it's listed on your instruction sheet. Okay, so this one we need to cut a 4-inch by 9-inch and a 4-inch by 7-inch. So again, this measures approximately 9 by 10. If we're going to cut 2 4-inch strips, we want the 9-inch to go this way. So I'm going to check this out. Let me measure it with my ruler. And this is 10 inches this way, and it is 10 inches this way. Well, I cut this a little big, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to just clean cut this edge since they're both approximately 10. And then I'm going to cut 2 4-inch strips off of here. Okay. So if I put this down, I've got my 4-inch, and notice I keep flipping my ruler, and we've talked about this before. When I can read the white numbers on my ruler, I'm getting whole measurements. If I flipped it over, I'm going to be able to read the black, and that's how you get half measurements. But I want this to be the full 4 inches. So I am going to take that and cut 4. And I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to cut a second 4-inch strip off of there. All right. Now this one, we need them at different lengths. So I'm going to turn the first one on the side. I'm going to, remember, I'm always lining a line up, making sure I'm keeping everything straight. I'm going to clean cut an edge, and the first one needs to be 9 inches. And again, that's longer than the width of this ruler. So I'm going to flip the ruler to its side. And I have 9 there, and I have this straight to the bottom, right? Let me get back up there, and I'm going to cut this off. So there's my 4 by 9, and I need a 4 by 7. So I am going to put the straight line on there and clean cut an edge, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to measure over 7 inches. So right there, all right. So I can make sure all 3 lines are lined up, and I can cut that off. So I have a 4 by 9 and a 4 by 7. That's color 2. Color 3 is our standard color in all our blocks, which is the Desert Sage color. I love this green. It's such a pretty green. And I need to cut 3 2.5 by 4 inch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it this way, and I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches. So again, we're gonna clean cut an edge. Notice as long as it's straight, we're good. And then I'm gonna turn this over and I'm going to cut a 4-inch strip. So the first thing you're gonna cut is a 4-inch strip, right? So I'm gonna cut that down. Now I need 3 2.5-inch segments out of this. So I am going to clean cut this edge. And I'm going to start measuring 2.5 over, and each time I cut, I'm making sure I got 2 lines lined up and this line lined up. So 3 of the 4 places are lined up. So that's 1 2.5 inch. I feel like Count Dracula. 2, haha, and 3. Okay, all right. So there are 3 2.5 by 4.5. The last color that we have to cut is our light. This month in the sage, we're using this really fun one. Isn't that fun? It's going to be in the center of the block. I guess I could show you the block. This is what the block looks like. Isn't that a fun block? Okay, and so we just need to trim this down to 5.5 inch square. And I'm going to grab my square ruler really quickly. Okay. Because are you still filming?
Yeah.
I like when I cut a square to have a square ruler. So I have my 5.5 here, 5.5 here. Notice I have lots extra on both sides. So I can clean cut 2 sides when I use my square ruler. So now I know 2 sides are square. I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to find my 5.5 inch line right here and right here. And now I can go ahead and cut the other 2 sides. And I have a beautiful 5.5 inch square. This also helps you if you're trying to fussy cut something in the middle. If you use your square ruler, you can kind of line it up and get an idea of what you want and if it'll fit in the middle. But there are all of our pieces ready to go for this block. And the block is pretty easy to make, so I'm excited to show you next how to put it together.